2022 was my first year really involved in triathlon, so to speak. And it was quite the year. So I just wanted to recap this year and see the races I've done and what I've done. And so when I come back next year, I have something to compare it to. And I think it's just really interesting to track the progress over time. So I would say let's jump right in and let's see what 2022 had in stock. As I said, 2022 was my first year really involved in triathlon and putting a lot of work and effort into it. But I actually did my first 70.3 Ironman back in 2019, and that was the St. George 70.3. That race was my first ever triathlon, and it was my first ever endurance race, and it was my first ever Ironman. And I jumped straight into the 70.3, no training, no real introduction, nothing. And it was a really great day. It was a lot of fun, but overall, as you can imagine, choosing a race like this for the very first event without any experience or background, it was an absolute disaster from a performance point. But it was a great experience, and I finished the race in 8 hours and 29 minutes, just barely from the cutoff point. And after that, I didn't do any more triathlons or any more endurance races for pretty much 2 years. In 2021, there was a lot going on in that year, 2020 to 2021, with moving around, jobs, etc. But I was also very unhappy with the way I looked. So in 2021, I signed up for another Ironman, and that was 70.3 Oceanside, which due to COVID was pushed towards October of 2021. For that race, I actually did train a lot, and I actually got in shape. And I think I do have a video of that up. I dropped about 35 pounds for that race, which made me actually feel a lot better. Going into Oceanside 70.3 was a great experience. I put a lot more training into it. I dropped some weight for it and I researched triathlon a lot more. And in the end came in with 7.5 hours, which is an hour improvement from my very first triathlon. So I was very happy with that. And that brings me to 2022 finally. In 2022, I completed 2 70.3 Ironmans, 1 Olympic distance triathlon, 1 half marathon, and 1 56-mile bike event, which wasn't really a race, but it was the first bike event in that sense that I did. In January of 2022, especially after Oceanside and the October prior, I decided that getting a coach would be a really good idea. So family helped me find a coach, put me in touch, and I'm really happy with the progress so far. This has been my first year of being coached in triathlon. Not to go professional or anything like that, but just to have someone that I can bounce my ideas, my questions off, that can provide me with structured training, and it clears up my head. I don't have to think about the workouts that need to be done or how am I going to structure things, how am I going to build things, and I can really just focus on just doing the work and trusting the coach with what she prescribes. And I think 22 was an awesome year to show for that it was absolutely worth it. So the first event was actually what they call the Brick here in the Coachella Valley area, which is a bike event on a Saturday, which is a 56-mile bike event on a Saturday. You can also do 110 miles, but we opted for the 56, and then you do a half marathon on Sunday. And I guess in the past they called it the Brick. It wasn't called that anymore, but anyways, so we did that in February, which was a lot of fun. It was fun to ride the bike around the area here and then do a half marathon the next day, which was my first half marathon I've ever done besides the one in a triathlon. And I came in at about 2 hours and I think 9 minutes, which was all right for being coached at that point for 3 weeks. The next event was Oceanside 70.3 again in April, which is now back on regular schedule after COVID threw all that for a loop. But I decided to do the race again, and it was a lot of fun. At that point, I was coached for 4 months, and I came in with 5 hours and 58 minutes, so just under 6 hours, which is a 90-minute improvement from my previous race in October, which was also Oceanside. So that was really awesome to compare it to and get that much of an improvement. It was great. Which also shows that I might not have made incredible gains or improvements from an endurance perspective, but just having a coach and providing structure and answering a lot of questions and strategic, like putting strategy and nutrition into racing really helped to just shave out a ton of time already. The rest of the year, basically till November, was pretty uneventful. I was sick for a week in between and wasn't able to train, but that didn't really impact much. The rest of the year, not much going on. Then we had an Olympic triathlon event in October, which was the Alpha Win Indian Wells, I believe it's called. And it was Olympic distance. It was great. My first Olympic one. I came in at 2 hours and 40, I believe, something like that. But I did make a video, so I'll leave the link in the description below. There was a lot of things that I learned from even like the shorter course event. And yeah, it was great. First short course, I liked it. But I think I'm gonna stick to 70.3s. And then just finishing out the year with 70.3 Indian Wells, which was a phenomenal race. It was a lot of fun. I came in at 5 hours and 53 minutes, so another 5 minutes improvement from my previous 70.3 in April that year. And I learned a ton from that race. And my coach and I, we talked about it. There were a lot of things that I did better than the previous 70.3, but therefore I neglected other things, which, it's still an improvement. It was still a personal best. So that was just really great. But I also made a video about that. Link will be in the description as well. I just wanted to look back at a full year of triathlon. So I'm hoping for next year. I have so far signed up for the bike event and the half marathon again in February, then for Oceanside 70.3 in April, for a half marathon in November, and I am on the fence of doing Indian Wells again 70.3 in December next year. But this is how everything is looking so far. There's a lot of things I want to work on, and I'll document everything on this channel going forward. So if you have any questions about triathlon, I invite you to stick around and we'll go through all these learnings and growing pains together. This is what this channel is all about. I want to share my journey and triathlon. I'm not planning on going pro. I just want to go through it, learn a lot, and just work on myself and keep improving myself. And I want to take you along, documenting everything and showing you that it's doable and that you can have fun in triathlon. It's a great sport. I think everyone should try it while also having a 9-to-5 job, while having other responsibilities. It's doable. It is a lot, but it's doable. I hope you guys have an amazing start of the year, and I know there's a lot of New Year's resolutions, and let me know down in the comments below if you have any New Year's resolutions or what you want to accomplish this year. But with that being said, have an amazing rest of your week, and I'll catch you in the next video.